what's up, everybody? I'm here today with Racquel Hardy. How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Want
Should
to
have told
move
you that
this
before,
closer to
yeah,
me?
a little bit.
I'm short as hell.
I
Hello.
never checked that, and then afterwards I'm like, oh no.
She's tight.
Cool. Well, we finally did it. We've been planning this for like a month.
Yeah.
Finally got it going. My first guest that's not MIA. Have you ever anything about the program in Fanshawe, like the music program?
No,
It's
not
a pretty
very.
cool program.
Yeah.
It's like 2 years, just like recording and like production and everything like
Okay,
that.
cool.
All the fun like legal stuff that comes along with music. you
Oh
know?
yeah. All that fun stuff I have no clue
Yeah,
about.
yeah. Even when we're learning about it, it's still like, this isn't fun though. How come we're not recording music? Why do we
Yeah.
have to we gotta
You have
get
to
like
learn
legal about it.
The foundation. Of
Yeah.
It, yeah.
It's like the most important part about like music almost is like, well, not the most important part about doing music, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you want to make money at it, you need to know how to do it. But
Yeah.
it's also the most like dull thing, like contracts and stuff.
It's my least favorite part about it.
Yeah,
It's
for
like,
sure.
oh, I gotta deal with this stuff.
Yeah. Well, we should shout out your sister Katarina for setting this up, because we like just met literally 3 minutes ago. But
Literally, yeah.
I went to school with
never met you.
Katarina. So how like involved is she in your like music?
Oh, she's pretty involved. Like, I wouldn't say she does anything musically with me, but
Yeah.
I think she really helps me with a lot of media stuff. Like,
Yeah.
she does pretty much all of my, like, pictures
Right.
and things like that. So,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
another like tough part.
yeah,
you have to
stuff
stay
that
on
I'm
it.
also, like, I don't really want to do that. I'm really, like, music focused.
Yeah, for sure. You have to stay like really consistent with social. So like,
Yeah.
if you can get somebody just to like handle it for you,
Yeah,
it's
she's
way
like, do
better.
that. And she does it for free sometimes.
Yeah, which is
Like, it's never free because it's your sister.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, you owe me.
yeah, yeah.
But-
I'll do it, but
Yeah.
yeah. Then so she's in Hamilton right now. Is she in school or what's she doing?
Nah, she's like rocking the whole media thing. Like,
Right
she's
on.
doing that, and then she's also like she's working at Starbucks, which is
Cool.
fun
Yeah.
because I get some lattes
Yeah.
for free. And yeah, she's living the dream.
Awesome. And then
Yeah.
you're in Orangeville right now.
Mhm.
What's like the music scene like there, if at all?
I was literally like discussing with someone about like Orangeville rock. Like
Yeah.
we have like a genre,
Right.
and it's so hard to describe, but we definitely have a genre, and it's like maybe like country rock. I don't
Okay.
really know, like blues country rock, which is cool, but it's not really a big scene.
Yeah.
And as like an experimental electronic artist,
Yeah.
there's not anyone there.
Yeah, I was gonna say like, are you still like, do you do clubs or do you like art venue stuff or?
Probably art venues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably
like
better.
art galleries. And
Yeah.
stuff like that.
So then you just do, is it like just you up on stage and then like a backing track kind of thing, or like
Yeah,
what's like
kinda.
the process?
Well, like I have my like sampler, which I use
Right.
mostly, but I try and focus on my vocals because I find my vocals are the most
Yeah.
like capturing thing.
Yeah, for sure.
So I try and just focus mostly on that because I find if I'm trying to do all my synth stuff and drum stuff, then my vocals are failing. And
Yeah,
then it's
because you're
like-
not focused on that. Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I've got my sampler, and then I do some synth stuff, and I try and just make a show out of it.
Right.
Dance. And
Yeah,
stuff.
for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So I mean, like, how long have you been doing this for then?
Oh my god. It doesn't feel like that long, but I realized that it's been like 3 years now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that I started Sage's project,
Mhm.
which is kind of cool because you learn so much and you meet so many people.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So how many shows do you think you've played roughly? Not-
Like, not a lot.
no,
but
yeah.
I can't even count them.
That's good though.
Yeah.
You're doing enough
That's good.
then.
Yeah, enough.
Yeah, so how did the Sages start then? Like what was what's like the meaning behind that, and
Yeah,
when
okay.
was that decision made?
So I was dating this guy, and we had a band called OK Sex, and we thought it was like he mostly made all the music, and then I would do the vocals.
Right.
And then eventually I started writing my own music and producing my own music, and I was like, I really, really like this. And I wanted to go solo, and he kind of felt like
Yeah.
about that. So then I was like, whatever,
Yeah.
see ya later, I'm
Yeah.
doing this. And then I just started Sages. And Sages kind of, the name came to me. Like, it just was like, oh,
Right.
that's a cool name.
Yeah.
And it means, like, wise women. Like,
Right.
Like, a group of wise women. I feel like I'm surrounded by them.
Right.
Constantly, like, be someone giving me, like, sage advice.
Right.
So it was like, oh, cool. And I put that into my lyrics
Right.
and my music, so.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And you have like one release, right? Like you have an EP out.
Yeah, I have an EP, like one real release.
Yeah.
This is my EP for sure.
That was Strawberry Crystals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Strawberry
I remember when it
Crystal.
came out, and then once we like finally set this up, I was like, I gotta go find it again because it's been a while since I listened to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like electric pop is like kind of like what you're.
Yeah.
Who are some of your influences? Because like definitely like your voice, I can tell it's like almost like there's almost like a pop punk kind of vibe like in there.
Actually, it's funny you say that because one of my biggest influences is Anthony Green from Circus Survive.
Okay. Oh, really?
So he's just got this like powerful,
Yeah.
like raw voice.
His voice is strange.
It's
like
strange.
it's very one of a kind for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And I always loved it, and I just loved how like just emotional it was, and like he kind of strains it a little bit to create that emotion.
Yeah.
And then I realized too, like one of his influences is Bjork.
Okay.
And Bjork is also like that too.
Yeah.
She's very emotional with her voice.
Yeah.
Like, her voice is very strange, but it's like she has, it's like for a purpose.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's not just like strange because that's different.
Yeah.
It's like it has to be that way kind of.
It's like she's trying to convey something with her voice and the way that it is, you know? So, and I always loved that. So then I was like, I really want to sing like that. And I never really had like a great voice. Like I kind of had like a mediocre voice.
Right.
So then as soon as I started like singing from this place of just like, I have feelings.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, cool. I actually sound all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely like I find singing too is like that emotion is much better than I find like we've been recording right now like in my band, and I find it way easier like practice like when we're either like practicing or at a show like versus recording. I'm like really trying to search for it sometimes when we're recording because it's a whole different element where like if there's people there it's much easier to kind of like get in your own headspace, I find, which is kind of weird. But where did you record that? Just like on your own, like at your
in
house?
My bedroom.
Right on.
Yeah. I live out in like Mono, Ontario, so it's just above Orangeville, and I have this beautiful room that's just surrounded by forest.
Right.
So it's just a very
awesome.
Nice space to work in, and it's very quiet.
Right.
And the things that you hear are like crow sounds and like, you know, like
just
forest
nature.
sounds.
Yeah. Just
So it's like if that goes into the mic, it's fine.
yeah, for sure. That's awesome. Yeah, where I'm and then like, did you ever live in Meaford, or were you like, you were there for a bit, eh?
13 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I lived up by like the military base when I was in Meaford,
okay,
so that was like perfect. So it was just so secluded, and like, so I just leave and just write and stuff, and it's so perfect. Like that's what's great about areas like that, or if you're like off in the bush somewhere, like you can just be by yourself and kind of let anything flow through you. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No one's bothering you.
No, yeah, that's like, I definitely prefer the city life more, but there's nice things about small towns that are kind of, that's nice about that for creative minds anyway.
Exactly, yeah. The seclusion is very important.
Yeah,
when it comes
for
to
sure.
Creativity.
Yeah, that's the only thing I don't like about here is it's hard to just kind of like leave.
Yeah.
Because there's always just somebody there,
Yeah.
you know? But,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I've never really been to Orangeville. Is it mainly like city, or like what's Orangeville like? Is it kind of like?
It's a very good in between like city and
Right,
country.
right.
I think like we have a lot of artists. There's a lot of artists.
Yeah.
Like visual artists
Right.
who create like paintings and things like that, which is very cool. And it's just small town really, but then you've got like you've got your Galaxy, you've got like stores and stuff. So that's kind of cool, but.
Right on.
It's not exactly like Meaford, but
Yeah.
it's not like Toronto.
Yeah, that's good. That's kind of what's nice about London, although it's still more mainly big city, but it's not Toronto also. Like there's a little bit of space, but
it's not,
like not a lot of space.
Not a lot, no.
So like where do you mainly have to go for like shows and stuff if you're looking
Toronto.
to play? Yeah, go to Toronto.
Yeah, or Hamilton.
Right.
Fine.
So like do you have anybody there that you like? Do you do a lot of collaboration now? Like I know it's mainly you, but like, is that a thing that?
I've been collaborating with a few people recently. So there's a cool band called Millhouse.
Okay.
And they're like a math rock band
Okay.
from Toronto. And what's cool about them is that they're in a band, like there's two guys, and they're in a band called Little Coyote. That's my song. Little Coyote. And I'm in a band called Falcon Jane. And we went on tour together. So we kind of found each other through our other bands.
Yeah.
And then the guitarist, he's like super he loves like weird sounds and like loves playing with different like his pedals and stuff.
Right,
like that. So
right.
he's been helping me with some new tracks and
Right.
stuff, which
Oh,
is
that's
kind of
awesome.
cool.
Yeah, that's super cool. Yeah, so that's just kind of like you for your writing process. Like, what's that like? Like, just is it vocally first or like?
It's never vocal. It's always like oh, I found this weird sound
Yeah.
on my synthesizer. Let's try and like make it into something, and then from there I'll try and create like a structured song, and then I'll put vocals on it.
Right.
Sometimes the song is so simple that the vocals create the song, and then I add more.
Yeah.
But it's mostly, it usually starts off with like, I have a weird sound
Yeah.
that I like.
Right.
Yeah.
So what's how long has Falcon Jane been going on for? That's a cool name, by the way.
Well, yeah, Falcon Jane's been going on for 10 years now.
Oh,
I
wow.
only joined this year. Like,
Okay.
I literally joined this month last year. So
Oh, okay.
it's been quite a fun experience to get to like learn how to co-write
Yeah.
with someone who's already so
Right.
great at writing.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, that's cool. But she's been doing it for 10 years.
Oh, okay.
So.
Is that like a full band or like what's the?
Yeah, it's a
making
full
of
band.
them?
It's a 5-piece
Oh,
right
okay,
now.
cool.
And she used to do it just like acoustically, like
Right.
when she first started, and then she developed it. As
Yeah,
a band,
and got
so.
the band going, and
Yeah.
that's like, is that math rock too, or is that
Hell no.
No, not
We're like, we call ourselves plezz rock.
Oh, okay.
Which is like a nice way of saying like easy listening.
Right.
Like, it's good though. We're different. It's not
Yeah.
something like, it's not easy listening, but it is like easy
laid
listening.
back, yeah, like
yeah.
good
Chill.
vibes, yeah.
Plezz.
That's awesome. So I was talking to Katerina the other day, so I was like, oh, what's some stuff I could like talk about?
Oh,
But
cool.
you said that you did this like festival in Meaford. It was kind of like your like main start, like
Oh,
way
yeah.
back in the day.
Yeah, it was actually something that just opened my eyes
Okay.
because I was so secluded to what electronic music could be, and
Right.
I experimented a little bit, but I wasn't like, I didn't know what was out there. I
Right.
didn't even know that there were other people like me who
Right.
make music like me, because Meaford's so
Yep.
like like everyone makes like metal music. in
Yeah,
Meaford.
it's true. You got country or
Country
metal
or
music.
metal,
That's
yeah.
very true.
So when electronic is like made, you're like, where do I fit in?
Yeah, search for it. Yeah.
Yeah. So then I randomly somehow got into this festival called Electric Eclectics, which is like an amazing festival, like one of my favorite festivals ever. And the guy who puts it on, he brings experimental, electronic, avant-garde artists from all over.
Okay.
And you just get to experience this very like visual, but also very like I don't know, it's just special. Like there's
Right.
just so many different sounds and ways of making sounds,
Yeah.
and it really just opened up my mind. So ever since I met so many people through that,
Right.
which was really fun.
Yeah.
Because if I didn't play that festival, I feel like I wouldn't be playing shows in Toronto. I wouldn't
Right.
be playing shows in Hamilton
Yeah.
or Montreal or wherever. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's like one thing I find too, like with being from such a small town, is sometimes it's hard to be like, well, there's nothing here, so like I can't do anything.
Yeah.
And then coming like to London really opened my eyes for that, because you obviously get people from all over. So
Yeah.
sometimes like I walked in never playing a show really before outside of like high school.
Yeah,
And then there's people that are like, yeah, I've been on like tour a few times, and you're like, what?
What?
Like, that's
I
an
know,
option.
exactly.
Like it's super eye opening, but it's good
Mhm.
because you get all these different experiences that everybody's had, right? And
Yeah, I always feel like a little like kind of naive and
Yeah.
very like just like, oh, that's new, and I don't
Yeah.
know, you meet people who are just have gone through so much musically, and
Yeah.
you're just like, I'm so
Yeah.
tiny.
Yeah, I had that with booking shows and stuff just
Yeah.
for us, and we haven't played too many, but I was like, how do I do that? Like you just ask. And
Like,
like, no,
yeah.
I can't just ask. Like that can't be how
No.
easy it is. And, like,
Yeah.
no, you just ask, and sometimes they're not going to answer you, and sometimes you're going to get a show, and you just
Yeah.
go out and
And that's
do
what
it.
happens.
Yeah, and like being present, like going out to stuff is also helpful.
Yeah,
like
going
showing
to
your
few
face.
shows.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's a big thing. Like I'm still kind of learning that, 'cause it's still awkward to like hey, I'm Caleb. What's
I'm in
up?
this band.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you just
We
have to
should
like
play
market
together
yourself.
sometime.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And like not be like too fake about it. Like
Yeah.
mainly like the name of this podcast was just a joke because like as soon as everybody like got to our program last year, it's like, oh hey, like nice to meet you. We should jam sometime, and then you never jam ever.
It's
It's
so
just
real.
it's just something that you
Yeah.
say to people, right? So like
Yeah.
when I did the first
should
episode, I was
jam
like, whatever, I'll just call it this. Like that'd be funny. People
Yeah.
get it, and then it just kind of like worked.
Yeah, it's funny.
But
I really
it is
like
kind of
it.
like the musician talk that like will happen sometimes.
And it never does. It
Yeah.
like rarely does. And when it does, you're like, sick.
Oh wow, it actually happened.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's super cool. Guys have like any kind of like house party scene or like anything that you do or
In Orangeville?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We got the fun party
Yeah.
times going, but it's all like local bands.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll like
That's fun though.
do our own thing, which
Ye-
is fun. So
Yeah.
it's just a party, really.
Yeah, basically just
Mhm.
with like live music.
Yeah.
And it's like usually your friends or whatever playing, which is lots of
exactly.
fun.
It can be, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we got lots of stuff. Like usually every year there's a new house that like opens up, which is like
They're
lots of
"We're
fun.
having parties."
Yeah, like
Yeah.
get to play, and it's definitely easier for like new bands because it's hard to get somebody just to like go to like the bar downtown to
Yeah.
come see you. Where if it's like, hey, we're playing a house party,
I love
everybody,
house
yeah,
parties, yeah.
everybody wants to go to a house party. It's
I've been playing a couple house parties, and I have a few coming up, but obviously you don't put them out there.
yeah,
like,
yeah,
"Oh, I'm playing at this person's house. You should come."
yeah,
But like, I find it way more fun because
Oh, yeah.
people are. It's a more relaxed environment.
yeah,
People
everybody's
are
just
more
having a good
like,
time.
open.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And it's like sometimes it's the most people you play to is at those house parties anyway.
Yeah,
right?
like
So,
there's always like 20 or
yeah.
more people.
Yeah,
which
yeah.
just sounds like not that many, but like
It also like always looks like a lot too in like
yeah,
a basement.
in a small
Yeah.
basement. It's like so many people.
Yeah.
Like the last house party I played at, I also make chocolate.
Oh,
so
nice.
I brought some chocolate with
Well,
me.
there you go.
And they all just like sat around me
Oh.
as I played. And they're all like, passing around my chocolate, which was kind of fun. And Katerina was there.
Yeah.
And she was like, "You've got like a little powwow
Yeah.
going on." And I was like, "That's what I wanted."
Yeah. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh man. So you're working on new music, obviously.
Yeah.
You got new stuff coming out?
Yeah, I
soon,
do.
Shortly.
In February 3rd.
Okay.
I actually started this album this time last year,
Okay.
and it's called How to Fill It.
Okay.
And it was going to be called The Void and How to Fill It, but then I was like, that's way too long.
Yeah.
You can't do that. But yeah, so that's coming out February 3rd, and there's 9 songs. on
Okay.
there, so that's
Perfect.
pretty
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Again,
Mhm.
just like in your bedroom, like
Yep.
doing your thing.
Almost
Yeah.
even more like lo-fi,
Oh, really?
experimental than the last one.
That's
which
cool.
is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Because that's where I started, right?
Yeah.
And so it's something where I was like, that's what I want to keep. Is
Yeah.
that like dirty
Yeah.
lo-fi sound.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then you just like you do like all the mixing and stuff yourself too.
Yep, I do all the mixing, mastering. The guy, he's from Hamilton. He
Okay.
makes amazing music. You
Okay.
should check him out.
Yeah.
He's called Sad Sorcerer.
Okay,
He's amazing, like mastermind.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
How'd you find him? Just like internet stuff?
Well, yeah, Electric Eclectic. So
Oh, okay.
his girlfriend at the time was there, and she saw me play, and she was like, "We should
Oh,
do a show." And
yeah.
then we ended up doing a show, and then just through Facebook, she like posted his stuff, and I
Right.
was like, "Oh man, this is really, really good."
Yeah.
I just like fell in love with it.
right.
And then I asked him to play a show, and then we played a show last year around this time, and then ever since we've just been really good friends, and he did the mastering for me, which
Right.
was amazing because
Yeah.
it's so hard to find people who
Oh, yeah.
want to do that and who are good at it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It's like a very
yeah.
Not everybody has the skill. So
No.
like, yeah, you definitely want to. That's tough for sure. That's what's
Mhm.
nice about like with us. Like most of our profs are just have been doing it like forever. Like our
Yeah.
coordinator like won a Juno for like the Cranberries singer that just passed away.
Oh, yeah.
He won a Juno for a record he did with her.
That's
So like we just
incredible.
have people like that are just like at our disposal essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is pretty awesome.
That's so cool. Seeing connections.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like just show up to class and then you're like good to go basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And like music videos or anything like that.
Well, I had a couple of them coming.
Yeah.
They came out back in like November.
Right.
And the one was for one of the songs Heartache Is.
Right.
And my friend Sarah, who is in Falcon Jane, she did that video.
Oh, okay.
And then the other one was for A Void, featuring an artist from Toronto called Fresh Flesh.
Okay.
And my friend who's in Bile Sister, which is also an experimental electronic band from Toronto, she did like an animation that was kind of trippy and interesting with like metallic blobs.
Right.
So that was fun. But I don't know if there'll be another one. Maybe I think when it comes out, like
Right.
after it comes out, I'll have another video.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Right on. That's cool. Music videos are a good time.
Yeah, they're just fun.
Yeah,
for
like,
me at least. I don't take them seriously.
No, like it's almost better if you don't
Yeah.
take them seriously. Like
Yeah.
yeah, especially if you're doing like an experimental type of music, like you can.
Yeah.
It's so open to like what you want to do, right? Like
Exactly.
it's almost more open to interpretation, like musically when
Yeah.
you're doing something like that than. You know, if you're just doing like a rock song or something, like you don't necessarily have to follow the theme because it's the whole thing's like the experience, right? So
Yeah,
that's pretty
exactly.
cool.
It's like it's more of a listening thing.
Yeah, for sure. So then you gonna be doing like any kind of shows or like tour sort of thing for this? Or?
I was just thinking like I'm probably gonna go out west in May,
Okay.
but for now I have a show at the Bovine on the 28th,
Right on.
Bovine Sex Club,
Yeah.
and then there's another show in Owen Sound,
Nice.
hometownish kind of spot with do you know Cruel Bloom?
Cruel Bloom. I don't think so.
No.
Are they from around
They're
there?
from our area, and they're like a metal band, and they're coming out with an EP on February 8th. So I'm playing that show, but I never really cared much for like EP release or CD release shows. I'm not. I don't know. I just don't see the point in it. It's like I play shows when I play shows.
Right.
I don't want people to feel like pressured to come to my like release show. You know.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
I guess like, yeah, I don't know. It creates a buzz, I guess, but like. Yeah, it's weird. I think it's like one of those things like with the way like the industry is like right now is there's some stuff that's gone and you would never do it again, but then there's stuff like that where it's like, well, that's tradition. That's
it's
like
what
what we
do,
always do. Yeah.
And I'm really trying to like break away from that and be like, what really needs to be done?
Yeah.
Like, is that just because everyone does it or is it because like it actually works?
Yeah.
Or, like, what's really going on?
Yeah, it's an interesting time because it's such a transitional period right now where I think like there's parts of people that want to hold on to what was, but like also it makes more sense to have your music online than in like a physical format kind of thing. Like it's a weird time because like you need stuff maybe to sell at your shows, but also like
I think that's why tapes
know.
are popular right now because they're more of like a memorabilia, like just to like pick up. It's like I don't know if people actually listen to it. I'm sure there's some, but it's like
it's just something to like have.
It's symbolic.
Yeah,
or something.
for sure.
Like I have a physical copy.
Yeah. I have a buddy that's actually just started this thing, like a pressing company, and that's what he's doing. Like he'll just do like all the artwork and just like small, like 25 to 50 tapes, and he'll just like make them all for you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's a super cool idea, basically just for that like same purpose of just like, oh, like I have like one of the 25 copies of this tape that were ever made. You know what I mean?
Like just this weird person.
Yeah.
That I met.
Yeah.
They make music.
Yeah. And like one day if they're huge, you're like, I got this like random piece of like tape that I've never listened to before, but that's super cool. It is like little stuff like that, like. There's another band called Esther's Family that I go to school with. They're like a folk type band, like they're like a collective, so the band's kind of ever changing, but like I have this like one button here where they're just doing this thing where Liam just gets baby photos of like everybody in the band and then makes buttons of them.
That's adorable.
But like but if you want like a certain button, you like have to go to a show that like that person's playing. So like
that's a good like hook for sure.
Yeah. This guy's crazy. I did a podcast with him a few episodes ago, and his like mind for music business is insane. Like
maybe I need to have a chat with him. Want to jam sometime?
It's another goal. I'm getting everybody to say the name of the podcast.
You're listening to.
We should jam sometime.
We should jam sometime.
Have you done like how many like interview stuff have you done?
Not a lot. Interviews scare me. It's like, what am I going to talk about?
This format's weird because like sometimes I try to like make it a discussion as much as possible.
It's very chill. It's like I feel like I'm just hanging out.
Yeah,
with
that's
a
the
friend.
vibe. Sometimes people are like, I ask a question and they answer it, and then it's like, oh, okay, and then they have to like, try to, like ask another one. Like we can like talk for a little bit if you want to
chill.
talk.
Yeah.
Well, like what else are you into? Like non-music related. What else?
Non-music related.
Yeah. Like, do you draw or something?
Not really. Sometimes I draw. I used to draw a lot.
Oh yeah.
I used to paint a lot, and then I just stopped. But I don't know. I'm very, very music focused.
Right.
Because I make chocolate. Like that's my job.
That's cool.
And like that's.
Oh,
Like,
that's what you do.
time. Yeah. So that takes up a lot of time, and then after chocolate, you're like, okay, I need to do music stuff.
Yeah.
Like, gotta go to band practice. Gotta like write an album.
Yeah.
So it's like it's very, very music focused. I don't know. I guess I like to pass time. I really like food.
Okay.
Like most people.
Yeah,
love
like I mean,
food.
food's good.
Food's really good. Love to eat, and then I like nature. I like going for hikes. And
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh, that's good. That's cool.
Yeah.
It's like what's good hiking spots around Orangeville?
Oh, there's so many good ones.
Yeah.
There's like Island Lake, which is like really beautiful, and then Mono Cliffs,
Okay.
which is also really beautiful. There's so many trails. Menorah Park.
Right.
So many places to explore.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
Just go and like get out of your head kind of
Yeah.
thing. And
Oh yeah.
that's awesome.
Just like chill out, hang out with some trees.
Yeah.
Talk to them.
Talk to the animals and stuff.
Yeah. Porcupine.
Yeah.
Friends.
Do you have a spirit animal?
Mhm.
You do? Perfect. Let's talk about that.
A toad's have a spirit. As corny as it sounds. But like panthers have always been
Okay.
a thing for me. I don't know why. I've just ever since I was a kid, I was like obsessed with panthers.
Okay.
And they say like, okay, your spirit animal is something that you've just always felt like
Right.
akin to,
Right.
I guess. So like panthers have always been this like thing for me.
Yeah.
And I like use them a lot, and I like love pictures of them.
Right.
And things like that. So it's
Yeah.
just like
That's awesome.
yeah, panther.
Panther. That's good. I'm trying to think of like different questions to ask people
Yeah.
on this that are
What's your
different.
spirit animal?
I don't know. See, that's why I was afraid to ask because I don't know.
Because you're
yet.
like,
yeah.
I don't know mine.
I know they're gonna ask me. I don't know. Know what's weird? I saw my buddy showed me this hilarious photo or video on Instagram of a polar bear one time,
Yeah.
and like a couple months ago, and I've just pretty much been obsessed with like polar bears and bears ever since.
Polar bears.
So
yeah.
maybe a bear, but I don't know
That.
why. I'll have
You
to
know
look
what's
into
weird?
that.
I was thinking of bear. Like I don't want to
Yeah.
be like, whoa, I'm psychic, but like I was thinking like it's bear.
I don't know why, but I just like bears for some reason.
Love bears.
But I've never encountered one, which I guess is a good thing. You don't want to
Yeah,
encounter a bear
no.
or a panther for that matter.
No.
That would be
I always
bad.
think of it. I'm like, what if I bump into a panther today?
If it just comes in Orangeville, just a panther crosses your path. That would
Yeah.
be strange.
And it's always like, so like I'll be saying to a friend like, oh, the weirdest thing happened. My spirit animal like showed up today, and they're like, freaking panther.
Yeah.
Like, it's like
There's
no,
a
just
bit-
like a truck with a
Yeah,
panther
yeah.
on it, like drove by. Like not at all.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Yeah.
There was rumors for a while in Meaford that there was like some cougars around.
Oh yeah, there
That they had like I never saw one, but I heard stories that some people's like dogs got jacked and stuff.
Yeah, I heard
Because the
about
deer
that.
population is so big up there that
Mhm.
they had to get cougars. That would have been crazy. We were like
That
a
is
little nervous
crazy.
because there was like apparently one around us, like up by the military base, because
Oh yeah.
there's so much just like forest up there that there's
Mm-hmm.
so many deer and everything. So we're like, keep the dog inside.
Yeah. Yep.
But that would be wild.
Where I live, like you go outside and all you hear is like,
Yeah.
you're like, oh.
Oh man.
Should go inside. Yeah.
Yeah, lots of like coyotes and stuff.
And cats go missing.
Yeah,
things
like that's rough. We like never really kept my dog out like a whole lot, but
That's good. What kind of dog do you have?
we had oh he's right here. He passed this year.
Oh no
But
way.
he was a border collie shepherd.
Aw,
Yeah.
cutie.
Yeah. He was a good boy.
Aw.
But it was like when we used to always have like raccoon problems and stuff, and then sorry buddy.
Just throw him on the ground.
And then like as soon as we got him, like we had no wildlife problems like at all, which was Good.
Scared him away.
Yeah, just his presence, I guess.
Yeah.
Do you have any pets or anything?
Kind of. Like, I don't own any pets,
Right.
but I live with people who own pets.
Oh, okay.
So they're kind of like my pets,
Mhm.
I like to think. There's this one dog that is, his name is Hood, and
Hood.
he's a boxer husky dog.
Okay.
A busky.
A busky.
And he is hilarious. So when he goes outside, he loves porcupines.
Okay.
Like, he loves to chase them.
Right.
And sometimes he'll come out with all these, like, quills
Oh, no.
in his bed, which is not good.
No.
But I'm thinking, like, dude, you got a new haircut?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's cool, and he's funny, and he's very characteristic. Like, he has
Yeah.
the eyebrows that just
Oh,
like,
okay.
move around. and
Yeah.
stuff.
He's got his own little like
Yeah.
facial expression. That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
He's recently had to put a bell on him so that he scares away animals
Oh,
when
okay.
he goes out. 'Cause
Yeah.
he always gets sprayed by skunks.
Oh
and-
yeah.
So
That's
bad.
brutal.
Yeah.
Like stop getting like pricked by porcupines. Man.
Yeah,
Like, just leave him alone.
Leave him alone, man. He's innocent. Just wants to be your friend.
Yeah, like just don't stick in there. Oh yeah, sure. You want to see the polar bear video I was telling you
wanna see the
about?
polar bear
Julia
video.
found it. I don't know why I
Oh
find
my
this.
god.
He just like pushes himself away from this.
That is you. That's you chilling.
I don't know why I found it so funny, but he's just like back floating for anybody that obviously can't see it. And then he gets up to like a wall and he just pushes himself away from the wall. And it's hilarious.
Floating
Yeah.
off.
He
That's
doesn't
amazing.
care at all.
Just chill.
Like he showed me it and I laughed so hard and then everybody's like the video's not even that funny. Like,
It's really
why-
not. Like, I get it, but I'm also like, why did you laugh?
I don't
so
know. I
hard?
thought it was hilarious. I don't know. But anyway, so that's why I think I'm a polar bear. There's also
Yeah.
this Netflix series called The Hunt or something, and we were watching that, and there's a part on a polar bear, and so there's like a part where you see a seal just like chilling by like a hole in the ice, and then a polar bear comes around and like an ice block, and he's like, oh sweet. So then the narrator's like, so polar bears will like go in a hole and then they like surprise attack these seals.
Yeah.
Except when the polar bear goes in the water, it doesn't have any sense of direction. So there's like a 2 to 3 minute clip of this where the polar bear goes in the hole and the seal's like here, and then the polar bear like pops up over here, and it never gets the seal ever. It just keeps popping up in like different holes. And
That's so sad.
It's so sad, but it's hilarious because
Oh,
he can't
it
get the
sucks.
seal, and then the seal eventually just leaves, and the polar bear's
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, I'll try again next time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because
That
they
sucks.
set it up like this seal's about to get jacked, and then it's just like, never mind, the polar bear can't get to it.
Oh, that sucks.
So I don't know if maybe I'm not a polar bear. It's starting to sound less and less favorable to be a polar bear. They can never find their food. They have no ambition at all.
No,
Never mind, I'm not a polar bear.
that's amazing.
I don't know.
Freaking polar bears. It's like no wonder they're going extinct.
Yeah, like they're not trying hard enough at all.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, what else? Are you working on anything else? What haven't we touched yet? What am I not asking?
I feel like you touched pretty much everything that I'm pretty much doing. Right now, I'm also like, even though I'm putting out an album, I'm writing an album,
Oh, perfect.
like a whole album.
That's good.
And that's where Byron from Millhouse is, and Little Coyote is
Okay.
helping me with that a little bit, which is kind of fun. And this one is going to be a little more, I think, mainstream.
Okay.
So that's going to be fun.
The third album that
Yeah,
breaks out.
You know, the one that's like, yep.
It's like a little cleaner, a
Yeah,
little crisp.
cleaner, and so I'm really glad that I did this like super experimental.
Right.
Got all of my like
Yeah.
bullshit out
Yeah,
that
yeah.
I needed to get, and then now it's like, okay, now you gotta be a little serious.
Yeah,
and write songs that people will actually enjoy.
yeah.
So
That's a tough thing. When
Yeah.
you're trying to be creative. You're like,
Yeah.
well, do you want people to hear it?
and I'm so rebellious too. Like
Yeah.
when people are like, you use way too much reverb. I'm like, well, I'm gonna make more reverb. Like so
100% wet all the time.
Exactly. You're mad? I'm gonna make you real mad.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
tough because like we're kind of in this. We have a lot of like slower. we're just like a rock band basically, like kind of like Queens of the Stone Age
I love them.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're my favorite band. So it's kind of like how we pitch ourselves kind of. But yeah, we need like, now that we've recorded stuff and we're like gonna start writing again, we're like, hey, we should up the tempo a little bit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's sometimes
Exactly.
during shows where we're like, okay, we have a couple songs and covers that like will boost it back up, but like if you play too many in a row, you're like, oh, we're losing them. let's up the tempo here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Whenever I do shows, like I make sets that they're upbeat because I find people just respond to it better.
Yeah.
When it's slower, you're kind of like, it sucks. It's like, you know, this is a great song, but they're just not going to get it because they're in another environment.
With stuff like that, it's much better almost in like a recorded form.
Yeah.
Because somebody will just like by themselves sit down. And
Yeah.
it's tough when you're
Lay
like,
on their bed.
you're new. Yeah, exactly. Because when you're new, you're like trying to get people to listen to you, right? So like you kind of need that like mainstream stuff that's going to be like,
that poppy
people are
stuff.
going to get. Even if people like don't necessarily leave the show like loving it, but they're gonna be like, oh, like that was good, and then like,
I
you know,
danced,
like at least instead of like, man, that was fucking depressing. you know, you never want that.
Which I totally am all about. It's like I realize I write only like sad songs, and that's one of the challenges with this new album. Is like, how do I make like happy songs? Yeah, which is actually, it's a challenging and it's fun. Yeah. But it's like you have to put yourself in another
for
frame of mind. Like, what would a happy person say?
Even like I found too, like, cause I write like a lot of sad songs too, and like it's just almost will then become like muscle memory. Yeah. Where when you sit down to write it, like that's just what comes out, even if even if you don't mean it to. It's like that's what happens. Yeah, exactly. It's like just cheer up. And you're like I'm not even that sad, like in my day-to-day life, but like when I grab a guitar, it's just like what comes out.
I'm just so sad.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just deep in me apparently. Yeah. It only comes out through the pen.
Exactly.
Yeah. But oh well. I mean, that happens. So how far are you along with that then?
Pretty far along. I've got 5 songs now.
Oh, cool.
Which is kind of cool. Yeah. And like my dad is helping me out, which is cool. He's a music producer.
I was gonna say, if I remember correctly, I thought your dad was a music producer.
Well, he does a bunch of things in the music industry, but that's the one thing that I've known him for. And he's just he's helping me with it, which is really cool because he has a better perspective on like, what is actually like sellable. And, how to market my music, which is interesting. Yeah, because my stuff is very interesting. Yeah, weird. So it'll be interesting, fun.
Yeah, that's a whole other mindset too. Like not every like musician has that headspace of like not everybody can be a producer. No, you know, and some people think that just because they play music you are, but it's a different like headspace that you have. Thing. Like then that's the big thing too, of just like we have the guy that lives right next to me isn't in the band, but like he's just a good friend of ours, and I was like, he has that kind of mind. It's like when we go in and like we've just been recording at the school, like that strike that happened and everything, that was perfect for that. And I was like, can you just help us produce this, because you know, which is perfect in a program like this, because there's people that are like killer guitar players, but then there's people that are like awesome engineers, or like, hey, try doing this instead of that. So
that's so cool.
It's, you know, good setup for the future anyway.
So. You know all these people.
You just have like a huge list of like contacts and stuff. But now it's actually like trying to move out of London too, like because you can get stuck.
Move your music.
We've played 6 shows and they've all been here, so it's like time to like branch out to other stuff. Which is scary.
It is scary, but you gotta do it
though.
It's interesting how it does it's like a snowball effect. It's like you play one show and then they're like want to play another show, and then it just keeps going.
Even if there's like 2 people in there or whatever that like it, and everybody else didn't really care.
Exactly.
It's still cool that
you still captured like 2 people.
Exactly. And like that builds up obviously, right? And
they tell their friends.
And then all of a sudden it's like it's scary at the start, and there's bands just in like town here that I love, and
Yeah.
you know, and they're like, yeah, like we went to Montreal and played to nobody, and you're like, we're like nobody, and they're like nobody was there, but like,
Yeah.
but then they come back here and the room's packed, or they go like someplace in Kitchener and the room's packed. Like it just depends.
But it's like,
right?
how do you build those like fan bases when you go to Montreal
Yeah.
or other places? It's like you have
It's
to
tough. Yeah, you just
have
have
at
to
least
go.
one person
Yeah.
there, and like it just
Yeah.
builds
Yeah,
over time.
you just have to like do it, and
Yeah.
you know, or you go there one time and it sucks, and you come back and it's
Yeah.
awesome.
Even
you
if
know?
like the bartender is like,
Yeah.
yo, that was
Yeah.
sick or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. It's tough, but like
Yeah.
you just have to want it, I guess,
Yeah.
is the main thing. Like,
And I think that's the idea, is like I feel music is something that no matter what happens in my life, it's always just
yeah,
it's a constant like force.
yeah, yeah,
It just keeps pushing me.
yeah. It's like that fire thing. If
Yeah.
you don't have the fire, then
Yeah.
you know, get
It's
at
like,
it.
and you just got to do things that scare you all the time.
Yeah,
Like if
for
it
sure.
scares you to play in
Mhm.
front of no one,
Yeah.
or to
Yeah.
play in front of like 100 people
Yeah.
or 200 people, it's like it's scary, but you
Yeah.
just do it, and
Yeah.
then all of a sudden you pushed yourself to the next
Yeah,
level.
then it's not like, so you do that a couple times and then you're like, oh well, like nobody's here, like whatever, let's kill it, and then
Yeah.
you like
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
you just, like,
exactly.
make sure. It's definitely scary to play to like 5 people
Oh,
than
yeah.
it is to play to like 50 people.
It's so
or
much more
whatever.
intimate.
Yeah.
It's like you're looking
Yeah.
at them right in the eyes,
Yeah.
like, who are
Yeah.
you?
And they're just like, and then like if you're one of the 5 people in the crowd, it's
Yeah.
awkward because you're like, I want to like dance for you, but I'm not gonna be like the weird person
That
dancing.
one
Yeah.
person dancing. Yeah.
It's so hard because when you're on stage, you're like, screw it, just do it, like help me
Yeah.
out. And then when you're in the crowd, you're like, sorry, no, like I'm just gonna,
Yeah.
I'm watching you, I'm gonna clap, but
Yeah.
like, I'm sorry.
Exactly. It's funny.
Yeah, it's interesting, but oh well, as long as you love it, like,
Yeah.
you know, it's all good.
Yeah.
But, yeah,
That's
well,
what it's for.
That's what it's for. Gotta love your music, people.
Gotta love it.
All right. Is there anything else you want to tell the people? What should they listen to? That's something I'm doing now too. Give me some stuff I need to look up.
Like
Stuff that you
music?
love, yeah, musically.
Okay, yeah, because there's something that I would totally love to recommend. Like, I am literally obsessed with Millhouse. Like,
Okay, I'm gonna look
I
that up.
love them so much. They're so good. They've got this EP out, and just look them up on Bandcamp.
Okay.
Millhouse Toronto, I think.
Okay.
Bandcamp. They're so good. Like, just so much fun.
Yeah.
Their vibes are so good. Every time I go to their show, I'm just like, yeah, like, you know, when
Yeah.
you see a
When
band
you
and
just,
your
like, love
heart just
something,
melts,
yep.
and you're like,
Yeah.
why? And they're just amazing.
Yeah.
They're so good. And then I'm also like playing with these people on the 28th at Bovine, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
But the other band that I'm just so obsessed with is Animatus.
Okay.
And they are just live. They are so incredible. So
Yeah.
if you ever see a show that's like Animatus is playing,
Yeah.
like definitely
Get
check
there.
them out.
Okay.
They're super cool. And who else? I think yeah, I think that's all I've got right now.
Yeah.
Sad
really.
Sorcerer, I mentioned him.
Yep.
Check him out. Sad Sorcerer, Millhouse, and Animatus.
Okay.
For
I'm
sure.
gonna do that. That's why I've been like just collecting
Yeah.
bands lately. I'm like, I don't listen to like anything new. I've been so
Yeah.
long since I've got new music.
Yeah, I know. I love old stuff.
Yeah.
I love like just listening to like I love Circus Survive.
Yeah.
So I'm always listening
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Circus Survive or like things like that. So
What's your favorite Circus Survive album?
of course on Letting Go.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I actually haven't listened to all of them.
No.
I'm kind of like, I love Gentra.
Yeah.
Is my favorite.
That's
like,
such
I
an
love that
interesting
album.
one
Yeah.
that people seem to love that
Yeah.
I don't really care about.
Oh
It's so
really? I
interesting,
love
yeah.
that album. It's
What do
so
you love
good.
about it? Like, what is it?
I don't know. I just think that I think it was the first one I listened to. Like, I started listening to them because I went, and I never actually even got to see them, but I went to this festival called Uproar in Toronto a few years ago, and they were on the bill, and I didn't know a lot of the bands on the bill, so I was just like collecting all the music to get into it, and then I never ended up seeing them. And I think that I just listened to that album first. And I don't know, a lot of the lyrics are good on it.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know. I think it's
Anthony
like stuck
Green's
with me
just, like,
first.
a
Yeah.
lyrical genius. Like,
Yeah.
I love him so much.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what it is specifically. I just think the songs are great. Like the first few songs, like the first couple of songs, like Holding Someone's Hair Back is good. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I like
So
it.
good. I like it. I don't know why. I like it.
That's cool though. Yeah. Well, awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Is there anything else?
No.
I think we hit everything.
No.
Cool. Well, thanks for hanging out.
Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for jamming out with
No,
me.
no problem. I'll put all the links and stuff below,
Yeah,
and we'll
cool,
like
yeah.
figure all that boring stuff out afterwards. But
Yeah.
all right, cool. Thanks for listening, everybody.